Now it's time to tack up a horse, so we'll do that really quick. First off, you start with your square saddle pad. So you're going to put that on top. You always want to make sure it lies flat. There we go. And then you're going to want to push it back so it lies with the direction of the hair. You never want to pull it forward because then it goes against the grain of the hair and it's really uncomfortable. This is another pad used for some padding so that protects your back. Then you put your saddle on. Set it down carefully on top. You never just want to throw it on top of their backs. That kind of scares them and is not so comfortable. Next we have the girth process. I don't remember what size she is, so we'll start with the smaller one. You always want to start as loose as you can. You never want to really crank it up really tight, really fast. It's kind of uncomfortable for a horse. As you can see here, when I'm going around Jade, I always go through the cross ties in front of her so she can see what's happening. I never go underneath her neck because that might scare her. Alright, so you make sure the saddle is in position. Reach underneath. Notice all my movements are very slow. And I'm not jerking around anywhere so as not to scare her. So you tighten it just a little bit so the saddle isn't going to go anywhere while she's standing. Next, we will put the bridle on. Just over here. So when bridling a horse, you always want to do safety first, where you put the reins over their head, so then that way, when you let go of the cross ties, if she decides to start walking away, you have a way to get a hold of her. Next, you'll take off the halter, unlatch it under her throat. Come here, child. So you just kind of set it to the side. As you can see, I'm hanging onto her face here, so that way she doesn't decide to wander off or do anything silly. Next, you put the bridle in front of her face. Hold it with your right hand. With your left hand, you're going to grab the bit and you're going to guide it close to her mouth. Put it next to her teeth. So then that way, once she opens her mouth, you slide the bit in and you loop it over your ears. And you make sure the hair is out of the way and it lies nice and flat. You can pull the hair out this way. Come here. So then you make sure you do all the fastenings so that way it fits properly. You never want it too tight. You want it, your nose band here, you always want to be able to fit at least 2 fingers underneath. That way it's not too tight and uncomfortable. So then you put all the straps in their keepers, that way there's nothing flapping around. You go underneath. This is the cheek piece, the throat latch. So with the throat latch, it comes around. This will hold it so that way the bridle doesn't come off over their ears. Once again, you don't want it too tight. You want it just tight enough where there's some room. This is more just like a second safety latch there. Then you make sure all your other pieces are in the keepers so that way when you're riding, they don't come out. With your bit fitting, you always want to make sure that you have it not too tight because then it gets uncomfortable. When you're fitting your bit, you want to look for a 2 wrinkle here. Once you see 2 wrinkles, that means it's an appropriate fit. So go a little bit tighter on hers because she's got a smaller face and we haven't fit this bridle to her yet. All right, and then that is how you tack up a horse. All right, it's time to go get my helmet on so we can go get on and ride.